Yesterday my video was about why the Las Vegas Raiders hiring Antonio Pierce was so Raider. I talked about the rumor that his plan is to bring in Kliff Kingsbury to be his offense coordinator if he gets the job. That rumor led to me not sleeping last night, so here I am today talking about the possibility of the Raiders actually getting Caleb Williams. Kingsbury and Williams are really tight from their days at USC together, so the fit is there. I originally thought Jaden Daniels was the guy because he's tight with Pierce and he still could be, but Kingsbury has me thinking it's Williams. There's something about the way things are lining up. What do we mean to have him? Of course, the fit that we talked about and I believe Pierce would ultimately get the job makes me believe this can really happen. It's crazy the way things are lining up. Daniels is tight with Pierce from their time together at Arizona State. Pierce was the defensive coordinator, but they both are from the LA area, and Pierce was the recruiting coordinator, so he was a big part of Daniels' landing at Arizona State. Anyway, Daniels was at the Raiders season finale and celebrated in the locker room with Pierce after. That made me think he would be the guy the Raiders traded up for leading up to this. Williams said during the season that he'd go back to school if the wrong team picked him, and the Raiders were one of the few teams he would go to. Then a few days ago, he doubled down on that stance, saying he wouldn't enter the draft this year unless he had assurances that the Chicago Bears were trading their number 1 overall pick. Then no longer than a couple of days later, he entered the draft. It is possible Williams said, "Forget about it. I'll go wherever because I ain't going back to school." He also could have got those assurances from the Bears that the pick would be traded. And at the same time, Champ Kelly is the interim GM still, so he can work the phones for future deals. What do you think? Thanks to Pierce, the Raiders know now that they're a consistent playmaking quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. They have a solid defense, a great running game if running back Josh Jacobs comes back or not, and superstar receiver Devontae Adams. If you put a quarterback in the driver's seat of that offense, the team will take off. If it takes 3 first-round picks to get him, the Raiders should do it. They would not miss those picks. Williams is the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, and he's the best quarterback prospect since John Elway. Oh, the Raiders have a little history with Elway. Legendary owner Al Davis had a deal to trade up for Elway, who said he'd rather play baseball than play for the then Baltimore Colts, who had the number 1 overall pick when he came up in 1983. Davis had 3 1s and 3 2s going to the Colts for Elway, but then Commissioner Pete Rozelle blocked the trade for personal reasons. Elway would have played with Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson, Tim Brown, and a bunch of track stars. They would have won a lot of Super Bowls. This is the Raiders' chance to do that over again, so the incentive is there. What makes a great prospect work out and become a great player for a team? It starts with the player's talent, desire, and work ethic. From there you go to your coaching staff's ability to develop them because they have to get better than what they are no matter what. Then from there it's all about fit. You can't really use a player if his skill set doesn't fit what you do. With Kingsbury as the Raiders offensive coordinator, Williams' fit would be perfect and his transition would be seamless. Many don't realize how much of a rookie quarterback's struggles come from not having a firm grasp on the offense. Sure, they have to adjust to all the exotic defenses in the NFL that aren't in college and the speed of the game. But when you have a firm grasp on your offense, you can process information fast enough to keep up with the speed of the game and side adjust to those defenses you face. You go over those defenses all week in the game plan anyway. We already know that Williams fits Kingsbury's offense from his time at USC. Put that together with the fact that he knows his offense already and the Raiders really have something. Williams' impact would be immediate. Obviously, Kingsbury is the reason why we believe it's possible Williams is the guy the Raiders are trading up for. But the only way the Kingsbury thing happens is if Pierce is the guy that gets the head coaching job. It wasn't long ago that I thought Jim Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy would be the head coach-quarterback combination the Raiders would have. But it doesn't look that way now. It looks to me like Harbaugh is doing the same thing he did to Michigan a couple of years ago after he took a pay cut. He just used the Raiders as leverage in negotiations and owner Mark Davis went along with it to help his old friend. I didn't see where Harbaugh did an interview or anything with the Raiders. He's done an interview with the Los Angeles Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons so far this year, but we've heard nothing about the possibility of an interview with the Raiders this year. You kind of want to get these interviews wrapped up sooner than later so you can get your offseason going. Therefore, I don't see where Harbaugh is even a serious candidate for the Raiders. And if he's not a serious candidate for the Raiders, I can't see where there could be anyone else in the way of Pierce getting this job. We've all been saying for a long time that if we get Pierce an offensive coordinator and a quarterback, he's on his way. Getting Kingsbury to come in and be the offensive coordinator would be great in itself, but imagine if he got Williams to come with him. The two already have a good working relationship from their days at USC, and he already knows the system, so it will be time to blast off from day one. You give a guy with that much talent and offense that he already knows with the talent he'll have around him, and there's no telling how far he can take the Raiders right away. Al Davis missed out on John Elway, so he's urging his son Mark Davis to get Williams. Thank you for watching. See you next time.